And my name is Ange or Anjali, and I am health and wellness coach. Today we have amazing Jess joining in, so who is a passionate advocate for neurodivergent people. Okay, all right. So she's joining as a maternal grounding. That's okay. All right. So she is. Yeah, but yes, so a little bit about Jess. So she is, where is her? Yeah, so Jess is a dedicated mom, wife of two, a mom of two, dedicated wife. I'm just introducing for the second time.
Oh, sorry. I'm having major issues, technical issues as always.
Yeah, so we all have that, right? And we're all learning, so that's
Oh my
okay.
God. God,
Yes.
sorry.
But anyway, yes. So, and you are a passionate advocate for neurodivergent children, as well as, like we're talking about the whole people, all the people.
Yeah.
And your passion stems from both your professional experience at Little Superheroes and your personal journey as a parent to a special needs child. At Little Superheroes, you help children reach their full potential through holistic therapy and nervous system regulation techniques while balancing the hemispheres of the brain. Jess has understanding of autism and ADHD allows her to empower families and create a supportive environment for these children to thrive. And in addition to your work at Little Superheroes, you're also the founder of Maternal Grounding, a business focused on providing support, massage, and healing for mothers throughout the maternal journey. Jess has combined experience and passion make your make a valuable resource for parents seeking to understand and support their neurodivergent children. Okay, did I read it all right? My accent is a bit
It
funny
did make
sometimes, but
sense.
anyway. And before we start, yes, so before we start, I would like to say that this talk is not a specific diagnostic for anybody particular, but for purely for the educational and awareness purposes. And this is, we're doing this live as a general knowledge, and we acknowledge that this topic can be expanded for so much bigger. But if you like more information on specific or like to do specific inquiries, you can participate in our Q&A at the end, or you can directly contact Jess later on, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So would you like to add anything on that?
No, nothing to the intro. No, that's great.
No. Yeah, it's my second time, but I was like, this time I'm going to be so awesome, and then
Oh,
but
so
that's
sorry.
okay.
I couldn't even join on the other account, and I'm like, oh God, I'm going to have to log out, log back in as maternal. But yes, so here I am.
Yeah, no, that's okay. No, thank you for being here, and then you how passionate you are, and and the knowledge you have. We wanted to know and bring the awareness in this topic, that because we all talk about ADHD and autism, but as soon as we talk about that, I imagine like a little bit disruptive kids or bit naughty kid. People give them that title.
Yeah.
So and then later on, oh, that kid has ADHD or autism, but that is not truly 100% correct, right? So we want
No,
to, yeah. So we want to understand. So yeah. So yeah, so tell us why you're here today. So we would love to, yeah, dive in. Let's
absolutely.
dive in.
I'm so
Yes.
excited to be here, and I think it's just, being here today is just trying to bring awareness and a bit of education around
Yes.
autism and ADHD so people can maybe understand it. As you said, I think there can be generally this, oh, that's a naughty kid, but
Mhm.
when they're diagnosed with autism or ADHD, there is so much more to it.
Yes.
And I think just to have a little bit of understanding and resources for people to be able to understand it is definitely why I'm here today.
Yeah. So can you please, yeah, thank you for that. And can you please briefly define what is ADHD? ADHD, that general people can understand.
Absolutely. So ADHD stands for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Yeah.
And if you look up ADHD, it will tell you that it is basically a chronic disease.
Yeah.
And if you look up chronic is lifelong. And that is absolute crap. Because with also ADHD, there's been a lot of talk, mainstream clinical, health and medical, with them diagnosing it as a chronic behavioural disorder, but they don't know what it is. They don't know, what this actually is and what is actually going on in the brain. So they also say that it can be genetic, but ADHD has never, ever been genetic, and it never will be. So you can get rid of ADHD. And it comes down to people with understanding the brain and how it works. And within the neurological terms, there is two hemispheres in the brain. You've got the left brain and the right brain. And there's so many loops and networks running within the brain and so many different parts of the brain, there's so many, it's quite astounding. But with all of those loops and networks, they need to be able to talk to each other. And basically, when you have autism, ADHD, and OCD, one or more neural networks necessary for optimal functioning remain underdeveloped, underregulated, or, under integrated with others. And we experience the complaints and symptoms for which people seek therapy. And what happens is when one part is underregulated, one of the other parts is hyperregulated. So you've got kids with, a lot of attention deficit disorders, and they're, very, very hyperactive. There's actually 3 types of ADHD. You have one which is inattentive, the other one which is hyperactive, and the other one which is combined. So all of those, there are 3 different types of ADHD. And I think, and I think one of the biggest things is that ADHD is the number one reason why children are medicated. And I find that astonishing. But at the same time, nobody else knows about that you can do different work to try and help ADHD, because all everyone has ever been informed to do is just go to your GP, then get a referral to a psychologist, and then they'll diagnose you and write you up a script, and that's it. But there is so much more to understand, and understanding that some of these networks, and specifically in the basal ganglia part of the brain, that there's 5 different networks within the basal ganglia itself, and there's parts in there that are very dysregulated.
It's it just like when you understand all these things, and you're not just saying it because you have done the went through yourself, but you are studying as well, right?
100%.
So you're intensively studying it. So it's incredible when you understand. You like, oh, they're not like that just because of that title on the whatever they have given,
Not at all. And I remember sitting on one of the lectures, and there was a little boy who he could not talk, but they could give him on a keyboard how to type certain letters, and he would write a sentence. And he said inside of him, he said, I want to talk so badly, but they name themselves like a different persona and actually name it Bob won't let me talk. So in their brains, and this is more maybe to do with autism as well, where they are trying so hard, but there is a disconnection in the brain that's not allowing that other part to flow through, like speech and attention and, all of that memory and all that kind of stuff with the energetics of it as well.
Yeah. So I wanted to, so if anyone just joined in, I just wanted to, just repeat the questions that we just covered. We said, we talked about why Jess is here today, and about the definition of ADHD and that general people could understand. And the another question I wanted to ask Jess, that when I was doing this study in ADHD and autism in women, it's apparently very different than in men, and we are so misdiagnosed. Are you happy to talk a little bit on that, please?
100%. Yep. So I think men are generally more populated with ADHD and autism, but as different human beings and as women and epigenetics and environmental lifestyles, women, men, and children are also different. So they may show different signs of the networks in their brain that aren't connecting.
Yeah, it's very interesting that. Sorry, my phone is like a bit funny. Yeah, thank you for touching on that. So because it's our women community, we wanted to understand that how we can bring the awareness in that on that side as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So another question is, what are these steps did you take to understand and figure out what was happening? From at the beginning, you might be a bit confused or didn't understand, like we are.
Yep.
And how did you figure that out?
I think one of the steps for me was when my son was in hospital, and in one of his days, and he had been called in for a review for all of his team to start going over because he went through regression. And it is actually very normal for kids to go through a regression from about 14 months old, roughly to about 2 years. And where he started moving forward with things, he went backwards. And so we also thought he was having absent seizures at the time. And when they did an EEG on him, and they said to me, their results came back and they said, okay, so there's definitely brainwave activity there, but it is not for seizures. And I was like, okay, so what is it? And they were like, we don't know. And I'm like, and this is the neurological side in the hospital system telling me they don't know what's wrong. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, you don't know? And my brain just exploded going, how can these people, when you are, no matter what you're going through, if it's autism, ADHD, and you're literally getting an EEG scan on the brain and you can't tell me what's wrong, that is what really triggered me to go, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to understand, what is going on with these kids. I want to understand all the different aspects that they can be going through and, being there to truly help them. Because if I can't get a neurologist inside the hospital to tell me what's going on with my son's EEG, what hope have we got?
Yes.
Like that is honestly why I started this, because of people in our system these days and the doctors, and being very close-minded and not open-minded to all situations, and only looking at one diagnosis when there could be multiple, and also looking at the big picture and not just what is presenting to them in front of them. Life and going through ADHD and autism and OCD and even Tourette's and schizophrenia, so many things can happen along the way, and we need to look at the big picture and not just the one simple thing that you're seeing right here, right now.
Yeah. So it is so intertwined with so many things than just the particular. Yes. And so so that's why we have people like you come along, and then you'll bring out all the information to open the eye for people.
Absolutely.
And then so there's another question. So what are the best advice did you get and applied for your son's well-being when you were so it's a bit of luck.
I'm going to go against the grain with this one, and probably that I don't honestly believe that I've been given a lot of right information. I think everyone, as we said before, with doctors being specifically only thinking of one area that's wrong and not looking at the whole picture. When my little boy was one of his, probably his second MRI, they had found some white matter on his brain, and the myelination hadn't grown to where it was. And I remember saying to them, right, so what do I do now? And they said to me, nothing, let him be a baby. And I was like, so much had happened to him previously to that, and to the point that, you know, he was dead on arrival. He was dropped on his head when he was born and had so much loss of oxygen. He also had brain damage. And when you try to tell a mother to do nothing, I can't. Like, I couldn't sit there and do nothing when so much had been caused by other people. So I think the biggest thing is, my biggest advice is to go and research yourself and find what aligns with you and your family, because everyone can have different opinions, perspectives, and even medical opinions. You can get many different medical opinions from different doctors, but you need to find what's right for you and what sits right with you and your family, because even something that I say mightn't sit right with you, but you need to go and find that right bit of information that you know you can follow through with and investigate yourself and do some research and being able to understand your child.
Yeah, thank you. So, you know, if they find the information, and or even people gives you the information, and do the, you know, take the one which aligns to you and your family, right?
That's right. That's right. Because nothing's going to work if you don't feel that it suits you and your family. Like, if you're thinking, no, this doesn't feel right, even though they're telling you that there's all these statistics, but if that doesn't feel right with you, it's not going to work with your family. So you need to find the right treatments and protocols that are going to suit you and your family and what is doable for you.
Yes. And you have earlier mentioned that there are 3 types of ADHD, and so which one you fall into, or, you know, they all would have a different, you know, sign and symptoms, and, you know, different way of dealing with it, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's 100% correct. Yep.
Yeah. So the whole mama says, you are amazing maternal grounding. Grateful you are speaking up for mothers and children. I'm still trying to understand my ADHD after 31 years. Yeah.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Yeah.
It's such a broad subject, and I think, like you, Ange, I have so much love for you and just wanting to create this space to try and help educate people and understand it a little bit more, because you're opening those doors and helping people along that way as well, with being able to have resources and, you know, education about it.
Yes. So, yes, that's why I'm like before, I'm nervous, and I'm, you know, I'm not, you know, and in the past I was like, my English is not great and all these things. But I had to make myself realize that my message and what we are doing is more important than, you know, like my nervousness or all those things. So, you know, thank you, whole mama, for, you know, for your input, and, you know, hopefully you know, I don't want to say it might get easier for your ADHD, you know, but hopefully we can talk more on this topic and bring the awareness, and then, you know, and like Jesse's doing, trying to help the kids. So, you know, so we, like us, they don't have to go through the similar situation like us, you know, what we are going through with this generation. They might not have to go through that. So if we start talking now, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you so much for, And so the next one is, so what do you do to maintain your son's health and well-being? Because you know, the challenges that I wanted to ask, the challenges that you came across as well.
Lots of challenges. Lots.
Yeah, yes.
And I think, though, it still gets me with, I think it doesn't matter what you can be diagnosed with. It can be hard, and even you can research it and understand it as much as you possibly can, but it's truly, truly just never stop believing and never giving up hope, and never stop trying, even when you think, God, this isn't right. It's, you know, what I do for my son is he has 6 therapies a week. That's a freaking lot. And sometimes it's 7. And what I am about is co-activating different parts of the body, the brain, for everything to try and talk to each other. And if that means he's got 2 hydrotherapies, 2 physios, OT, speech, brain therapy, like he's got so much. And it's really hard some days. Like it's really, some weeks you're so exhausted that you don't want to do it, but you just have to keep trying, because if you don't, then what hope have you got?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So when you don't do it, and then you don't know how far, how the progress that he could be doing, you know.
That's right. That's right.
And then as a parent, I think we all want to do our best. So yeah, that's a great advice, Jess, that not to give up and keep going.
And just have the courage to take that step, because it can be very daunting for yourself or for your children, but just having the courage and, you know, surrounding yourself with people. And if anyone ever has any questions, like we said before, like always reach out to me, because I will hopefully should know the answer, but if I don't, I'm going to find it. And because we all need the support, and, you know, like they say, it takes a village to raise children, but it takes a village in general in life. Like I think if we can surround ourselves with people that are understanding and maybe going through something similar, or just know a little bit about it, it's going to help you a long way.
Yes. No, it's, you know, it doesn't make the symptoms or the, you know, everything easier, but when you are with these similar like-minded people, it feels like you are in this together, right? And it gives you the courage and hope, like you said. And someone is doing, you know, like yourself, you're trying to bring out the, you know, information, and someone might be looking for something different, and all those things bring together, and then it's, you know, we might come up with something bigger things.
That's right.
You know?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Open Minds Centered Therapy says, integrated medical and holistic care, our healthcare needs and conditions can be so complex. We are all here to share knowledge and learn. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Yeah, so when we share, and then, yeah, that is our our goal here today, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then so final suggestion for the people who has ADHD as a parent or as a kids, like you have, I think, already mentioned, not to give hope and keep trying. And do you want to add anything else in that?
And just be open to, I think, other therapies. For, like we said earlier, you know, the number one reason why kids are medicated these days is because of ADHD. And, you know, the good old pharmaceutical brands, they don't like people, say, like me or like us, that are looking at more holistic ways, because it's going to take them out of business. And but I don't care about that, because all I care about is the people that need our help. And so my biggest suggestion is be open to finding out more information and doing your own research, like we said, about something that might suit you and your family, and just keep doing what you're doing, and again, not giving up.
Yes, keeping the open mind, and do your own research.
That's right.
And keep open mind. And yes. Oh, awesome, Jess. Thank you so much for that. And I wanted to, if you have any questions, please write it down and send us through. So this is our Q&A section. It's you know, Q&A time. If you have any questions, please write us through. And a wonderful advocate for your boy. Thank you for sharing today, Open Mind Centered Therapy. Thank you so much for coming here and being part of it, guys. So Q&A time. If you have any questions, shoot it through. There is one question came in LinkedIn, Jess, for us. So it was said to us, but I'm putting it now. I'm palming it to you. Oops. So this, what happened? Okay. So it's the Autism Advocate Hub from LinkedIn, and so they have asked, how do you think your work can contribute to creating more inclusive and supportive environment for neurodivergent individuals and their families?
I think this work is huge for that. I think me, number one, I'm a mother of a neurodivergent child who is very, has huge things happen to him, and we continually go through. And I think that the work that I'm doing is being open to all of our kids and specifically being here to help these kids. Because, like I said, when we were in the hospital and the neurologist is trying to tell me that he doesn't know what those brainwaves are on my son's EEG of his brain. And I'm like, what the heck? So with that information, just coming from people inside the system, they're so close-minded and they are definitely not empathetic. And I know that I am 110% empathetic to all of our children, all of our neurodivergent special needs children, because I have a child with both. And being not included is heartbreaking. And I know that, what we have copped through, we were removed off a plane last year because they couldn't accommodate my child. Literally removed off a plane. So inclusion to me is the epitome of everything that these kids need, because they all need to be included and looked at as just who they are, and not that they are different or anything wrong with them, but inclusion is huge. And having the time to spend with these children and not just be a number and absolutely give them love, that's what's going to win day in, day out.
Love and attention. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Jess. So that is the answer for the Autism Advocate Hub. And would you let us know where we can find you and contact you? If our viewers would like to stay in touch with you.
Yes, absolutely. So I have this account, which is for my other business, Maternal Grounding. But I do also have, so my account for this neurological work is called Little Superheroes. And I think if maybe I can give you the details, we can put it on here for that. Oh, you've got that link anyway, hey, Ange? Yes. For that account. But just send me a message on Instagram just send me a message and I'll get back to you. So always contact me if you've got any questions at all. I am 100% here for you, because this journey can be really hard. Any diagnosis can be hard, and we are here to support you and be here and have your back.
Yeah, we hear you, Jess, and thank you so much for coming here today and knowing a tiny little piece of the information that, it is, I know it's a huge and it's not possible to fit in a 20 to 30 minutes time, but just talking about it, this week it's our Autism and ADHD week. So I wanted to bring someone who has been through and who is doing this study like yourself, so we can understand as not just as a professional, but lived experience. So thank you so much for coming here today, everyone, and thank you, Jess, for coming here. We truly appreciate your time, and as much as we had a little bit of fun start, but thank you for all the great information.
Thank you, Ange. Thank you so much for having me.
Looking forward to catch up in person one day.
Yes, we will soon. We will.
Yes. All right, Jess. All the best, and we'll talk to you soon. Hey.
Yes. Thanks, everyone. See you.
Bye. Thank you, everybody. Bye.